All right, Sinister plotters, welcome to our first ever deep dive.
Real exciting.
I know, right? And we're starting with a bang. We have not just chapter 1 of Metalstar by Aaron Hill, but also the Metalstar Luminarium.
So we get the behind the scenes stuff.
Exactly, like all the author's notes and extra details and all that juicy stuff.
This is going to be good.
I'm excited.
So Metalstar, it drops us right into this post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, after this thing called the Dark Epoch.
Right, the Dark Epoch.
Yeah.
And we meet Jake right away, just kind of trekking through this wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this, like, inflatable kiddie pool.
Right. Like, what's the deal with
Yeah,
that?
that was my first question.
Yeah, you're in this harsh, wasteland landscape.
Yeah.
Why are you carrying around this, like, brightly colored pool with cartoon seahorses on it?
And, like, an inflatable pool, like, how long is that going to last?
Exactly. You can't even use it for water, right?
Right.
Like, it's got to be symbolic of something.
Oh, for sure. It's got to be...
Well, the Luminarium, it kind of hints that maybe Jake has Korsakoff syndrome.
Oh, interesting.
Which I had to lift that up. It basically, like, affects your memory and thinking.
Ah, so maybe he's holding on to that pool because it's something he can't bear to forget.
Right. Like, what if it's, like, the last happy memory or something?
Oh, that's kind of sad.
It is.
It makes you think about what it would be like to try and survive when you can't even trust your own mind.
Yeah, like, how do you even know who to trust in that kind of world?
Right. And then on top of that, we have Sarah.
Oh, yeah, Sarah. She wakes up in this cloning chamber.
I mean, talk about a rough start.
Seriously, like, she is literally born into this post-apocalyptic world.
So she's like a baby, but she's not.
Yeah, and what's even crazier is that her consciousness is a downloaded copy.
What?
Yeah. So she has all these memories of this life that doesn't even exist anymore.
Whoa.
Like, imagine you wake up and you remember your family, your home, everything, and then boom, you're in this, like, cold metal chamber and everything's falling apart.
That's going to be so disorienting.
It's like a total mind trip, right? And the way the author describes it, her senses are all messed up.
Like how?
Like, she can barely see or hear, and everything's distorted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you really feel how confused and scared she is when she stumbles out of that chamber.
So it's like a second birth, but into, like, a nightmare?
Exactly. And then we meet Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, he's the AI that's in charge of this whole Protagia project. Basically, it's like this plan to repopulate Earth after the catastrophe.
Oh, okay.
So Roger's, like, downloading consciousnesses and monitoring the clones.
Wow, so he's like a super doctor AI.
Mm-hmm, pretty much. But what's really wild is how he describes himself.
How?
He calls himself a society of robot minds.
What?
I know, right? Like, what does that even mean?
It's like he's not just a program, he's like actually thinking.
It's kind of freaky.
Definitely.
But things go downhill fast because this alien vegetation starts attacking the facility.
Alien vegetation.
Yeah, like some kind of plant, but it's not from Earth.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like dissolving everything it touches.
Oh, no.
The Luminarium says something about these Sky Reapers who took over after the Dark Epoch.
Oh, so this vegetation is probably their weapon.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I know, and it gets even crazier because right when things are at their worst, Roger sees something outside.
What is it?
We don't know. He just freaks out and tells Sarah to run and hide.
Oh, man, that's a cliffhanger.
I know, right? Like, what could be out there that's so scary it even frightens an AI?
Good question.
We'll have to wait and see.
I'm already hooked.
Me too.
So we've got this, like, super creepy alien plant and an AI that's scared?
I know, right? It's like, what could possibly be scarier than a super intelligent AI?
That's a good question.
Right. Like, it makes you wonder what else is out there.
Yeah, the Luminarium does say a bit more about the Sky Reapers.
Oh, yeah. What does it say?
It says they, like, enslave humans and force them to work in these things called the gardens.
So the alien vegetation's like their tool for control.
Yeah, pretty much. And they use it to create these gardens where they make humans work.
That's messed up.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Like, what kind of work are they making them do?
I don't know. The Luminarium doesn't really say.
Mysterious.
But it does say they took over after the Dark Epoch.
Right.
So
Agree.
it sounds like whatever happened during that time, like, really messed things up.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder how humanity even survived.
Right. Like, did they fight back or just give in?
Or maybe it was a bit of both.
Maybe.
Like, some people resisted and others collaborated.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and we create all these interesting conflicts and dilemmas. Like, who do you trust when you don't know who's on your side?
Right. And who's really in control.
Exactly.
And then there's the whole thing about everyone being the same shade of brown.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too.
What happened to all the different races?
Right. Did they just blend together over time, or was it something more sinister?
The Luminarium doesn't really say, but it definitely makes you think.
Yeah, like, is this supposed to be a utopia where everyone's equal? Or is it actually a dystopia where individuality has been erased?
Maybe it's both.
Yeah, like maybe there are some benefits to having a more homogeneous society, but also some serious drawbacks.
Like maybe there's less prejudice, but also less diversity of thought.
Exactly. And then you've got Sarah struggling with her downloaded memories.
Right, like are those memories really hers or are they just implants?
It's like the author's questioning the very nature of identity.
Definitely.
And then there's Jace, who might not even remember who he is.
Oh yeah, with the Korsakoff.
Yeah, so they're both searching for themselves in this shattered world.
Which is a pretty powerful theme.
It is, and it makes you wonder what it really means to be human.
Like if you lose your memories, your culture, everything that makes you you.
Are you still the same person?
Good question.
Right. It's something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
So the author really isn't shying away from the big question.
No, not at all.
And it's all wrapped up in this action-packed story.
It's a great combination.
It is, and it makes you want to keep reading to see what happens next.
Totally. And speaking of what happens next, let's talk about that cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. What did Roger see?
That's the million-dollar question.
The Luminarium doesn't give us much to go on.
No, it just says he was terrified.
Like, what could be so scary that it would frighten an AI?
Right. I mean, they're supposed to be logical and rational.
Yeah, so whatever it was, it must have been really bad.
Like maybe it was something that defied logic or reason.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Like maybe it was something supernatural or even extra-dimensional.
Whoa, now you're getting into some serious sci-fi territory.
I know, but that's what's so cool about this book.
Yeah, it's blending all these different genres and ideas.
It's like sci-fi meets horror meets fantasy.
And it's all set against this backdrop of a post-apocalyptic world.
It's a wild ride.
It is, and I'm buckled up and ready for more.
Me too. Okay, so we still don't know what Roger saw.
Right. That cliffhanger is killing me.
It is a good one, though.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, already, we need answers.
I know, but that's what makes us want to keep reading, right?
True, that...
Like the author's got us hooked.
And it makes you think about what could be so terrifying to an AI.
Yeah, like Roger's basically a supercomputer, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's got access to all this information, and he's super logical.
So whatever scared him must have been something totally unexpected.
Something that broke all the rules.
Yeah, maybe something that even he couldn't comprehend.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, what if it was something that challenged his very understanding of reality?
Okay, now we're getting into some deep philosophical territory.
Oh, right. But that's what's so cool about sci-fi.
Yeah, it makes you think about the big questions.
And about the limits of our own knowledge.
And the Luminarium mentions how humanity's changed after the Dark Epoch.
Oh, yeah. The whole everyone being the same shade of brown thing.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
What are the implications of that?
Yeah. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, on the one hand, it could mean that racism is a thing of the past.
Yeah, like maybe everyone's finally come together.
But on the other hand, it could mean that individuality has been suppressed.
Like everyone's been forced to conform. Definitely.
And it makes you wonder, what else has changed about humanity?
Like what about their culture, their values, their beliefs?
Yeah, what makes them human in this new world?
And speaking of human, what about Sarah?
Oh, yeah, she's still blind and alone out there.
I know. I'm worried about her.
Me too. She's so vulnerable.
But she's also got this incredible strength.
Yeah, she's determined to survive.
And to figure out who she is.
Which is a pretty universal theme, right?
Yeah, like we're all trying to find our place in the world.
And to make sense of our own identities.
And this book really explores that in a unique way.
It does, and it makes you think about the power of memory.
And how our memories shape who we are.
And what happens when those memories are lost or altered.
Like with Sarah and Jake.
Right. They're both dealing with memory in different ways.
And it's making them question everything.
Which is what good sci-fi should do, right?
Totally. It should make you think and question and wonder.
And Metalstar definitely does that.
Oh, yeah. It's a thought-provoking read.
It is. And it's also a total page-turner.
I couldn't put it down.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, I need to know what Roger saw.
And what's going to happen to Sarah and Jake?
And what's the deal with these metal stars?
Right. So many questions.
But that's what keeps us coming back for more.
It does. And we'll be back next time to dive into Chapter 2.
So make sure you read it before then.
And in the meantime, head over to www.metalstar.us for more info.
Yeah, you might find some clues there.
All right. Sinister plotters, until next time, happy reading.